Right. Hello, Steve. How you doing?
Oh, good, thanks.
Brilliant. So, for people who don't know, my name is Andy. I am in charge of marketing here at Ionic, and this is Steve Dunmore, the brilliant inventor of the roof wand. So, the reason why we're doing this video today is because, as many of you may have seen, we put out a video that has done over 2 million views across TikTok and Facebook. And we thought that's obviously amazing, but there are a lot of comments in there that are people unsure about how the system works and maybe some concerns about the integrity of the tiles and the way that it works and possible damage, which are very reasonable questions. So I've got Steve here, and we're going to talk through some of the comments that we received on that video. First off, for people that don't know, the Steve is our trainer and like I said, the inventor of the roof wand. And to give you a bit of background information, Steve spent 20 years as a commercial diver before then starting a vacuum excavation utility clearance company. He designed one of the trucks that is now widely used across the world today. And since leaving that, he's now started roof cleaning. You originally started with gutter cleaning, didn't you? And you realized that you could clean the roofs before they fill up the gutters with all the moss, right?
Well, what happened was the truck that was developed for a gas company. We built about 7 or 8 trucks for them, and it was going good. And then as time went on, the system got superseded by a German system. So the actual first prototype was left in my hands really. So on there was a big vacuum system and which I used for doing clearing gutters because my brother he was a window cleaner, and he said, "Well, why don't you do gutters and start jet washing while you're thinking about what you want to do?" Because there's a massive jet wash on there. So I started doing that, and then it evolved into people asking me to clean roofs. So I thought of a different way of doing it, which led to the roof one really.
So, for people that want to know more about Steve's story, you can learn more about that if you were to join on the BWCA training course. But for now, we'll just jump straight into some of the questions.
Yeah.
So, one of the biggest questions that we had, and a lot of comments that we had, were people saying that you can't pressure wash a roof, um, and particularly in taking the protective coating off of the tiles and therefore damaging the tiles and shortening the lifespan of them. So, what? Yeah, tell us more about that. What say you?
Well, when I first looked into roof cleaning, all this was going on even before I arrived. There was people on cherry pickers using flat surface cleaners, turbo nozzles. Same with towers, scraping. They all exert a pressure, but it's an industry already out there that wasn't harming the tiles. So on the back of that, I just developed a system. Well, okay, it's not about the pressure; it's how much weight you have behind it and how much force you're exerting on the roof. So if you got someone standing on the roof with you know, arms locked with a jet wash at full pressure, you're going to damage the roof. Which the systems out there aren't like that. So with the turbo nozzles, the actual head is very lightweight, and there's not much resistance behind it, so it can just float. So the actual pressure coming out is not the actual force you got on the roof because there's nothing stopping it from rising. So that's the principle behind how this system works. And to answer your question about damaging the roof, Mother Nature does that. If you got UV will bleach the tiles. Wind, hail, rain takes the coatings off. So when before I was cleaning roofs, I was vacuuming gutters, and the main you got dirt in there, moss, but also the grit from the roof, which is just happens. It's just natural, just comes off automatically. So once that glaze is gone, it's exposed to the elements, and that grit comes off. However, you want to clean a roof.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
also prior to actually doing this, I actually went to a reclamation yard and purchased as many old tiles as possible. All from different areas going back 60 plus years. Measured them with a vernier gauge, and then cleaned them with the system, and then remeasured the thickness, and there was no difference whatsoever. The protective and the concrete tiles, the protective grit had gone. as for the rest, there was no detriment to any of the tiles. So I knew then and there that this type of system wasn't going to make the tiles any worse or create new damage.
Hmm. I guess like following on from that, like then what if you've got a roof with newer tiles and someone wanted you to clean it? Would you say no, I might take the coating off?
Well, what I'd say to them is, if it's a brand new roof, the moss has got nothing to grip onto. The actual, the coating's still there. So, it's very rare that happens. It's only like 10 years plus people tend to look up and see moss. And that's because the actual, the moss has took root in there and it needs something to anchor to.
Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. So another question that we get is leaks. And we had loads of people saying, "Oh, you're going to damage the roof," and they're going to come back in a few months and they're going to see that there's their attics full of water and damp and mold, and that's going to be invalidating people's insurances. Going to be massive claims there and everything. So what do you say? What do you say to that? And I guess like how do you compare that to other methods of cleaning roofs as well?
Um, I mean, if you were shooting water up the roof, they'd have a point. But the way this system is, the head articulates to whatever angle the pitch, whatever pitch of the roof is. So the actual force of the water coming out falls the same direction as rain. And if rain's not going in, this won't.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah, like exactly. Other systems, they flat surface cleaners, that they'll throw water one way and it comes back up the other. So, but these methods of cleaning have been going on for years on the old work.
Hmm. Yeah, sure. I mean, that's another thing people say about like the like why wouldn't you just use a flat surface cleaner on a tower, really?
Um, as I say, there's whatever system people have got, they use and they'll swear by it. From my point of view, I wanted to develop a system that wasn't probably as imposing for a customer. Whether it be a cherry picker or a scaffold. And also, I was speaking to someone actually who's bought the kit that used to do work from towers with flat surface cleaners, and it was his words, not mine. Said, well, he's been doing it for years like that. When he took over the roof one system, it was a game changer for him because he wasn't taking scaffolds up and down, moving them around all to accommodate for different facets of the roof. He said, on flat tiles, the actual flat surface works really well, but when you get onto like more contoured, it doesn't work as well because it starts to clip the tiles a little bit, and so they tend to use turbo then. But with the system for the roof one now, it covers every type of roof, every type of roof tile really, so you can clean it. But whatever works for anyone's fine. But this happens to work, for someone who's used flat surface cleaners before, this works better for them.
Hmm. I mean, that comes into one of the next questions, actually. I'm going to skip ahead a few, but we had, again, because of the reach of the video, lots of people asking the system looks great and it looks like you can do a lot of good work very quickly and very safely from the ground, but their concerns were that it would only work in properties where you've got a big garden or you've got lots of room to work in, kind of thing. So what do you do when you come across properties where they've got not a lot of space?
Well, to answer your question, that the most of the roofs requests I get are like for like large gardens, medium-sized gardens, where people can look up and see the roof that's dirty. If you get a really tight garden, people doesn't tend to be on the radar. But to answer your question, I've actually in that scenario, I can actually work from the neighbour's side, and you can clean on an angle to clean the roof. If it's there's only one time I had to work really tight, and that was about 5 meters away from the building. I couldn't see the apex of the roof, so I had to raise my eye line by 1 meter, and I had a little A-frame ladder which just stood on it. I cleaned the first half of the roof down, keeping the system short, moved all the way along the roof, cleaned the first half of the roof, then took a section out and then cleaned the bottom section, doing the same way. And that's about the only time I've ever had to raise my eye line to clean the roof. Otherwise, there's always been ways of doing it from an angle, or you know, or just by using your common sense, really.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, have you ever had any problems with neighbors not wanting you to be in their garden?
Um, more like neighbours not talking to each other. So I've only had that once, and I went round to the neighbour. And she forewarned me, so I went round to the neighbour's house and I said, "Listen, I need to uh, clean next door's side pitch on the roof. Would I be okay to stand on your property? I'll put sheets out to keep everything clean." And said, "And if you allow me to do that, I'll vacuum clean all your gutters for you."
Mm.
And she said yes. So I did that. I just did the gutters for her, and it wasn't a problem, you know. Otherwise, to date, it's been very good. You know, I don't get any problems. With neighbours like to do favours for each other, and quite a few times I've actually got their work as well. You know, so
Ah, brilliant. Yeah, I mean, doing the marketing for you, for yourself, right? So, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I guess leading on from that, like, we didn't get this question, but how many roofs do you reckon you've cleaned now then using the roof wand?
Well, I think up until I brought the systems, I cleaned about 150 odd prior to bringing it to Ionics, and I've
Mm,
probably gone well over probably close to nearly 400 now. I think with the
wow.
system all over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I know
yeah.
from my own personal experience when we're on the training courses and people see you working, they see just how fast you are, and they're all blown away by not only the system, but like your obviously your work ethic and the way that you approach these roofs. Like, is that like, yeah? I mean, I've lost my train of thought a little bit there actually.
I
Um,
know. I get what you're
yeah,
saying. It's just I get locked into doing the job, and I just want to get it done as quickly and efficient as possible, really. So it's like a job and not. Everyone's got their own way of working. That's just my way.
the we had a fair few comments saying this, like the how do you know that you're not one damaging the tiles, or how do you know that they're not damaged to begin with? So what are you doing there in order to mitigate that?
Well, I take plenty of before photographs. Ask questions. Any damage. Get the history. And I want to say to the customer, if it's not leaking before, it won't leak after the clean. But I'll uncover what's under the moss. I don't know. So we could potentially uncover damage, cracked tiles, loose pointing. Um, Explain that to them. I know over the years, I've never had any problems with customers coming back saying the roof's leaking 6 months later, a year later. But I suppose as if you're doing this as a business, it'd probably be prudent just to get a checklist to get them to sign it, just in case, because some people might want to try it on.
Mm.
That hasn't happened to me, but it's possible.
Yeah.
So you're always
I
best
mean, I
to
know
uncover yourself.
again when we're doing all the training and I've got the drone up taking footage, that a lot of the guys then are wowed by that and they're thinking, oh, this is a great idea for the inspection side of things. And I
Yeah,
know now that we've got a few of our customers using the roof one that will fly a drone up to begin with, do an inspection that way, and then fly it around afterwards, or even using it during so that they can get it for their social media and they're getting content for themselves.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I use
Yeah,
a GoPro on a telescopic pole,
mm,
just for close-ups, or want to do a time lapse.
yeah. Yeah, I guess there's less things to go wrong with that. Whereas crashing a drone is probably a bit more dangerous. Sorry. Um, anyway, right, next question. What we got? We've got. So there were a lot of American people that had seen the video, and as we know in America, they use a lot of shingle roofs. So
Yeah,
we had lots of comments saying you can't pressure wash a shingle roof, you can't do this, you can't do that. What Yeah, I mean, I guess like we know the shingle roofs are not very popular in the UK, and certainly in the video
yeah,
it wasn't a shingle roof. Um, Going from there, like we know that you can't pressure wash a shingle roof, but
yeah.
I guess what kind of tiles can you pressure wash with the roof one?
Well,
Sorry.
I mean, you'd never. Well, I'm no expert, and I've never seen them really, but I've looked on the American videos and people clean roofs over there, and everything soft washing. I've seen one fella who's on the roof and he is jet washing, but he's using a fan jet, just to get the dirt off. That's in America, so you would never put a turbo on, but it may be a wide fan jet to get some loose moss off, possibly. I don't know. But other than asphalt shingles or wood shingles, you'd be using this system's good for anything else. Do it any type of tile. You've got your artificial slate. Well, over time you get organic matter eats into it, and if it's clean, however it's scraped by a side, it will leave a white stain. So that's just one of them. Anything else, natural slate, concrete, terracotta, clay, yeah, not a problem.
Yeah, wicked. Um, I think that is all the questions. Actually, no, there is one more. So again, we had lots of people that I guess are new to exterior cleaning, or they are not used to using gutter vacuums and things like that. We had a lot of people saying, well, now your gutters are going to be blocked and you're causing another issue there. What's your process? So we know that you'll be, as you said before, you'll be cleaning the gutters out after the job, and even doing it for free for some other customers if that's a good way of sweetening the deal for using access to their property. What is your process, start to finish, in terms of setting up, doing the job, and the cleanup afterwards?
Yeah, well, you've done all your checks before the jobs even started, all these site surveys, risk assessments. Well, you'll pick where you're going to start first. Start at the rear maybe, and just put your sheets out, set your equipment up, disconnect. It depends on your policy on ladders. You can either disconnect the downspout, block the drain down there, put a container underneath. I've got a wheelbarrow full of holes which can catch a lot of the moss coming out of the downspout. Or if they're really tight or sealed or whatever, you can use the gutter vacuum to put if you want a towel in there, just to block it either side. If you've got two there, clean the roof and then vacuum out between downspouts, and then vacuum out the rags, if you like, the towels. That's it, basically. Wash down everywhere and move around.
Yeah, wicked. So then obviously you then got all the moss off the roof. You've got your sheets down, like your tarp down to catch all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it all lands on I overlap all the tarps. So if you've got like flower beds or lawns, you don't want anything on there. So obviously when I'm cleaning, getting towards the gutter line, I'll turn the flow down so it just falls off really. It's not coming too far out from the building. And then as the moss lands on the tarps, you just roll the moss from one tarp to the other, because you've overlapped them, right onto the hard standing, where it might be. It could be a pathway, just like driveway or patio, and then spade it into the wheelbarrow full of holes, and that drains everything, and you can dispose of it how you've agreed with the customer. And then you swap your turbos for two fan jets and just wash the whole side of the building down quickly. All your face, because it's a full exterior clean using the roof one. You dust the roof, you switch to the fan jets. You've got all your fascias, soffits, gutters, walls, windows. The whole side gets clean.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I've seen you do it, and it's rapid. Like it's great to watch, and they do leave the house like absolutely spotless.
Yeah.
Wicked. All right, well, that is all of my questions. So, for anyone who's been watching this and has enjoyed what we've been talking about here, we do discuss a lot more about this on the training courses that we offer. The next one we have coming up is via the BWCA, and that'll be on the 26th of this.
Come and spit it out.
Yeah, literally. We'll be running the Roof One training course on the 26th of September. You can book online or you can call us in person. There will be, I don't know what I'm saying. I was about to say there'll be sandwiches. I'm just thinking about food.
Kentucky, I'll get him here.
I think I need to have my lunch. Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to add, Steve?
Um, I think it's just that the system works well and it keeps you safe.
That's what it's all about. All right. Thank you very much for your time, mate. We'll finish it there, and I'll see you soon. I'll see you in September as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right,
All
Andy.
right.